Qatar Airways is firing up to 5,000 cabin crew. Make sure to stay tuned until the last minute of this video, as I'm going to elaborate this subject from an aviation management point of view. My name is Julia George. I used to fly for Qatar Airways for the past 10 years, out of which 5 years I have spent in the leadership role. Now, besides Qatar Airways, many other airlines followed the same example as in firing people, but instead of firing, they use the word laid off. Now, I do understand, as also my video is containing the word fired, but actually there is a huge difference between a word fired and the word laid off. So let's quickly remind each other, what does it mean when somebody is laid off from their work, and what does it mean when somebody is fired from their work? And if you're somebody who has been laid off or has been fired, knowing the difference between these two words will have an impact on your eligibility for unemployment, as well as your hiring prospects for the future. When an employee is fired, that is due to unsatisfactory performance in the job, and this has nothing to do with the financial situation of the company where the employer who has been fired is coming from. But when an employee has been laid off, this has nothing to do with their personal performance, and it's purely connected to the company. It usually occurs when the company is restructured or downsized, or the company simply goes out of business. Now, in the official statements of the airlines who have been laying off people, you will never hear that they are firing people. They always come up in public and in the media with the word laid off, and I've just explained to you what is the difference between laid off and between being fired. And very, very important, laid off employees usually are getting rehired when the economical situation of the company is getting back to normal. And in order to understand this a little bit more profound, and not to just think that they are just firing their employees and we're just going to sit and generalize and stereotype, we need to apply certain tools from the aviation management so things will be very clear, and I seriously believe that also there will be a hope for those people out there who have been laid off. Now, let's ask each other, how do the airlines are actually financing their business, or where do the salary from the cabin crew in this place comes from? Now, from the aviation management master student point of view, the cornerstones of the financial process for a commercial airline are the following: booking and ticketing, payment processing, revenue accounting, revenue integrity, analytics. It is crucial to mention that at this moment, the airlines are facing something called revenue leakage. They are receiving much less revenue than what they used to, what they should receive and what they were expecting, and that is due to passengers simply not flying. And we are all very well aware of the reason. It's due to a pandemic called COVID-19 that started to happen from January this year. Now, it is very important to mention that in this 5 months since the pandemic started from January this year, as I have said, the airlines were doing everything that they can so they can keep the same number of employees, hoping that this pandemic will go over soon and that then things will be back to normal in aviation, and especially the state-owned airline who are getting support from the budget of the states that they are owned. We're really hoping for the best. Unfortunately, that situation is not promising in this moment, and to be very honest, nobody actually can say a true prediction on until when this is going to be lasting. Now, let's speak from the cabin crew point of view. What is our primary goal, or what is our job description when we are being hired by a commercial airline? We are there to take care of the safety and security of the passengers on board the flight, to provide first aid whenever it's necessary, and to provide those high service standards that the airline is training us during our initial training for a cabin crew. Now, if the governments of many countries all over the world has said to the airlines that they cannot fly to the destinations that they used to, if the aircrafts of the airlines, and in this case in Qatar Airways, Emirates Airlines, Etihad Airways, Lufthansa and so many airlines have their aircrafts being grounded. We as a cabin crew going on board the aircraft, whom we're going to be serving, to whom we're going to be ensuring that they are having a safe and comfortable journey, to whom we're going to be providing that first aid whenever it's necessary, and to whom we're going to be providing and displaying those high service standards that the airline has been teaching us. Now, airlines and Qatar Airways in this case do want their business to be running as usual, and believe it or not, I'm sure that you all know that no airline wants to keep their aircraft on ground and not being running the business, because the primary business of the airline is actually to transport people and goods. And this video is mainly made for the commercial airlines because cabin crew are there for the passengers. We don't serve the cargo. So what I strongly believe that, and by watching closely monitoring the websites of the airlines, and I've been signed up actually to many airlines to receive their new sellers, I can observe and see that they're doing literally everything to attract passengers and to ensure that the business will be coming back to normal now. Is that all the airlines want to keep their business running, and all the airlines would want their aircrafts to be flying, as that brings money, that brings the revenue to the airline, and that actually pays off the salary of the staff working in the airline. Now that's a process. What I have done, I have signed up to all the major airlines news sellers, and I'm receiving emails, and I can see that they're literally trying and doing their best to attract passengers. They're offering indeed very attractive packages when it comes to traveling, for business and leisure as well, both. Now, it is important for you that if you would like to know how things are developing and coming back to normal, to be subscribed to the news sellers of the airlines, in particularly the airlines in the Middle East, if you're a cabin crew aspirant from any of those airlines. And then you can get an idea that things might come back to normal, and you might start even thinking that process of recruitment that you are now, or you are an actually employer who has been laid off, might be coming back to normal very, very soon. Long-term business is crucial to every airline, and this is something that every business is actually very particular about. And I'm not saying this to make you feel better, but I've been very honest with you, and I'm sure that you know this, but aviation is a business that is here to stay. What I also would like to mention over here is that many airlines have been waiting for their new aircrafts to be delivered, and many of them, if not most of them, have actually postponed that process for the simple reason, why would they need those new aircrafts being on ground? It will be better if the order of the new aircrafts stayed and has been delayed when the things come back to normal, and then deliver them on time when they will be in a need to use them. And I have observing so many YouTubers out there making videos about airlines don't care about their cabin crew, they don't care about their crew who have been there for 15 years, who have been there for 6 months, who have been trainees, so on and so forth. I seriously do not believe that. I believe that this decision that has been made is not something easy. They didn't bring this decision when COVID-19 started in January 2020, but they brought this decision much later, 5 months later, when basically things are not as promising as they were hoping to be before. I'm gonna say once again, I observed that they're literally doing everything to attract passengers. So we, the cabin crew that are going to be on board, we are going to be having our jobs secured, and we will not worry basically for our salaries. And I'm not making this video to gain 100,000 viewers and to read some kind of paper in which I'm gonna elaborating what the chief executive of an airline has said, or to make you feel better. But I'm doing this video to tell you that there is a reality we have to face over here. Irrespective you have been somebody who has had the date of joining or has been in the process of getting the job, doing the medicals, taking the pictures during the recruitment process, you have been somebody who has been in the company for 6 months, or you're somebody who has been in the company for 15 years. If you have been laid off, there are serious chances, if not 100% chances, when things are coming back to normal and the airlines will be having passengers that they will be transporting from point A to point B, you will be having a job and you will be rejoining and coming back to the airline where you have been laid off. From a passenger point of view, one day We all are going to be flying as frequent as we were before COVID-19 happened. And that day, you're going to be having your jobs back. Until then, please stay strong. Let's support each other. Don't forget to click subscribe on my YouTube channel for the many videos that are coming up. Until then, stay blessed. Bye-bye and have a nice day.